Welcome to part 3 of the free Shopify and GoHighLevel course. So far, we have created our GoHighLevel account, got a brand new phone number set up, integrated Shopify with GoHighLevel, and built out our pipeline. If you haven't already seen parts 1 and 2, I encourage you to watch those first so you don't make any mistakes or miss any important steps. In this video, we'll be building out the custom automations that power this entire system. First up, we are going to create the integrations that cause leads to flow through this pipeline. So the way it's set up right now, the leads aren't going to come in and just automatically show at the correct stage of the pipeline. We have to build the automations that power that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into GoHighLevel and we're going to go to the automations tab and we're going to create a new folder. I'm just going to call this Shopify pipeline. That way we can stay really organized and everything is inside of this folder. Now I'm going to go inside this folder. Next, I'm just going to create a new workflow and I'm going to start from scratch. For the recipe name, I'm just copying it from my other screen. We'll leave allow re-entry turned on for now. And I'm just going to rename this create opportunity in abandons checkout stage. Now for the trigger, I'm going to click on this and then I am just going to select Shopify abandoned checkout. So I'll just search shop and then I'm going to choose abandoned checkout here. I recommend that you actually use the duration that's by default, which is 10 minutes. And then we'll just click on save trigger. Now we do need to put a split here in this automation and it's going to be based on the total of the cart. So we're going to add a split here. And this is going to be, I believe it's called an if-else statement. And then we're going to create the branch, which is based on Shopify total price. So for the condition, I'm just going to call it Shopify total price. And then right here, we actually want to use the value that is related to this pipeline stage. So if your average order value was, let's say $100 and you put 250 plus checkout here, that's the value that you'd want to use in this automation. Now for me, I'm going to use 500 because that's what I have here. So for me, I'm just going to have this set to less than or equal to $499.99. And then right here, I'm going to search for Shopify. Where is it? Let's see, right here, Shopify. And then I'm going to go to total price. And for the operator, I'm going to put less than or equal to, and I'm just going to put $499.99 and I'm going to click on save action. And then just as a failsafe, I'm going to put another one here. So down here, I'm actually going to add a branch and I'm just going to put greater than $500. So I'll put that here. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing. So I'm going to go into Shopify and then total price is greater than 500. And I'm going to click on save. Now we want to click on the plus sign here and we want to create an opportunity. So I'm going to go to create/update opportunity. And then to name this correctly, I'm just going to remove this and just call it create opportunity because we're not updating it and moving it. We're actually creating a brand new one. And in the pipeline, we're just going to choose Shopify abandoned checkouts. And then in the pipeline stage, we're going to set them to the abandoned checkout step. For the opportunity name, we're just going to put this variable, which is contact name. You can actually search through here, but I'm actually copying and pasting from the previous one that I built out for my client, just so this video flows and is as short as possible for you. Next, we're going to just set the opportunity source, and I'm just going to use the word Shopify here. And then for the lead value, we want to give it the order total value here. And we want to set the status to open. And we don't need to turn on either one of these options. So we'll just click on save. And I actually want to add a little bit more information here. So I'm just going to put create opportunity in Shopify abandoned checkouts, Shopify abandoned checkouts pipeline. And we should be good to go now. So I'll just go ahead and click on save action. Looks like that's actually too long. So I'm just going to say create new opportunity. That's okay. In Shopify pipeline and click on save. There we go. And then here I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm just actually going to duplicate this. So I'm going to copy and then copy action and I'm going to copy it to here. And then I just want to make some minor edits. So in this case, the checkout is over 500. And because in my pipeline, I have this $500 plus checkout stage, I actually want to set them here. So instead of putting them into the pipeline here, I want to put them into this step. So I just want to make the small edits here. I just want to change this to $500 plus checkouts, and then I'll just leave everything else the same and click on save. Now that we've done that, we just want to click on save in the upper right-hand corner. And then we're actually going to toggle this on and click on save again. Next, we want to create the new automation that is going to move leads to the hot leads section if they reply to any of our messages. So I'm going to create another workflow. I'm going to start from scratch. And then for the name of this one, I'm just going to call it update opportunity. I'm going to leave this turned on. And then I'm just going to call this update opportunity to hot leads pipeline stage. And then for our trigger, I just want to set it to customer replied. And then I do want to add a filter by tag. So I am going to click here under add filters. And for the filter, I just want to click on has tag. And then the tag is actually going to be abandoned. And I will add a new tag of abandoned, and that will be here. So basically how that's going to work in our main automation that's actually going to be sending the text, the emails, and the voicemail drops, it is going to add this tag to the contact of abandoned. And that way it's only going to update them in this pipeline if they actually have that tag when they reply. So it's just a way to make sure that everything is organized and there's not leads flying all over the place from different pipelines or different thing you have going on inside your account. So I'm going to go ahead and click on save. Next, to just further remove anyone who may not be high quality, we're going to add an if-else statement here. And this if-else statement is going to be based on them replying with the word stop. So I'm just going to say here, the condition is going to be replied message. And then here under the branch, I'm just going to say does not contain stop. Actually, it'll be better to put this in all caps. And then right here, I'm just going to do replied message. It should be under contact reply, replied message, does not contain stop. There we go. And then I'll just go ahead and click on save action. That way, if anyone is opting out to the SMS message we're sending, we're not going to add them to the hot leads area of the pipeline. And then one other thing we're going to do, we're going to add another if else statement just to be extra sure, if else, and we're going to add that in. And then here it's going to be contact, and then DND enabled, channel is empty. And then to enable that, we're going to go in here and we're going to click on contact details. And we're going to go down to DND enabled channels is empty. And we're going to click on save. So that's just making sure that they haven't opted out from any channels at all. So we're still communicating with the highest quality leads that want to be contacted. They haven't opted out through email. They haven't opted out through SMS. Next, we want to click here and we want to actually add a tag. So I'll add a contact tag, and the tag is just going to be replied. So that way we know that they have replied, and this is going to help us if we ever want to filter through all of our leads. Maybe we want to call every single lead who's ever replied to us. This will make it really, really easy to sort them through the CRM. I'm actually going to rename this add replied tag, just so we know what tag is actually being added from this view here. So it's good to keep the names of each block really relevant to what's going on. That way you know exactly what that step is doing. And now we want to add the create/update opportunity. And then here we're actually going to be updating the opportunity because they're in the abandoned checkout already. And they are either in the abandoned checkout stage of the pipeline or the $500 plus stage of the pipeline in my case, because that's the value that I used. So now I'm just going to update them. I'm going to select the Shopify abandoned checkout. And then for the pipeline stage, I'm actually going to add them to the hot lead section. These are just all of the leads that have actually replied. Opportunity name is going to be the contact name. The opportunity source is going to be Shopify. And then the lead value is going to be the order total. And the status is still going to be open. We haven't won the opportunity because the order hasn't converted. So I'm just going to still leave the status as open. And then I'm going to click on save action. Next, I want to publish this pipeline and click on save. One other thing that I want to do is actually rename the trigger. So I'm just going to click on the trigger and then I'm going to rename it from customer replied, which is the default, to customer replied and has abandoned tag, just so I know that it's being filtered and only people that have the abandoned tag that have replied will be added to this stage of the pipeline. So I'm just going to click on save trigger and then I'm going to click save again just to make sure that all of those changes are saved. Next up, we want to create the automation that's actually going to add contacts to this receive discount code step. Actually, the way that this is going to work is we're going to have our main automation that's going to be sending emails, text messages, and voicemail drops to our customers that are on Shopify that have abandoned a checkout. And there's going to be a message that's sent that basically just says, do you want me to see if I can get you a discount code? And the idea is then the customer is going to reply with either yes or no, or any positive word like yes, yeah, that would be awesome, please do, something like that, or something negative. If they reply with a positive intent word, we're actually going to deliver them that discount code and we're going to add a tag to that contact as well. So what I'm going to do is just go back to our automations area and I'm going to create a new automation. I'm going to start from scratch. And then I am going to name this workflow the following, which is going to be 3 update opportunity to receive discount code pipeline stage. And then for our trigger, we want to use the tag-based trigger. So we're going to say contact tag. And here we're going to put tag added. And this is just going to be receive discount code. And this is the tag that we're going to be using in our other automation. And then here, I'm just going to rename this trigger to contact tag added, receive discount code. That might end up being too long, but let's see. There we go. Once that tag is added, they'll be added to this workflow. And then what we want to do is we want to update the pipeline stage. So I'm just going to go into opportunity, create/update opportunity. And this is actually going to be updating the opportunity. It's going to be in the Shopify abandoned checkout pipeline. The pipeline stage is going to be receive discount code. And then we want to add the following variables that I've been adding to every single other one, which is opportunity name is the contact name. The source is the word Shopify, and then the lead value is order total price. And then for status, we want to set this to open. We want to leave these toggles turned off and then just go ahead and click on save. Toggle this on and click on save. One other thing we want to do is actually rename this action name. So I'm just going to say update opportunity, and then I'm going to put the opportunity name, which is the pipeline stage, received discount code. And then I'll click on save action and save again. For the next automation that we want to create, it is going to be responsible for moving leads or customers from the receive discount code step to the trigger link click stage here. So basically we're just moving people left to right as they get closer to recovering and placing their order that they abandoned. So what we're going to do for that is we're going to go back to all workflows. We're going to create a new workflow. This one is also going to be from scratch. And then for the name, just need to close this. And then for the name, we want to call it for update opportunity to trigger link clicks pipeline stage. And then what we're going to do for this, the trigger is just going to be based on a trigger link click. So just trigger linked click. Later, we can actually add a filter around a specific trigger link. But since we're just going to be using the account and we're just going to be sending trigger links that are related to abandoned checkouts, I'm not actually going to filter this for now. So I'm just going to put trigger linked clicked, and then I'm going to click on save trigger. And I want to add a tag. Again, this is just so we can keep track of leads. Basically, we can tag every single person who has ever clicked a link. That way, if we want to sort through all of our contacts inside of the GoHighLevel CRM, we can quickly and easily do that if we want to mass call them or something like that with a power dialer. So I'm going to add a contact tag, and the tag is just going to be clicked trigger link. And I'll click add new tag. And then this will just be add clicked trigger link tag, and I'll click on save action. That way the name is easy to understand what's happening at this step. And then we want to update the pipeline stage as well. So I'm just going to search opportunity, and we're just going to call this update opportunity. And then what we're going to be doing is putting them in the same pipeline, but we're going to be moving them to the trigger link clicks section. So I'm just going to put this and then put trigger link clicks. And then the opportunity name, we're going to do the same thing. It's going to be the contact name, which is going to be the name of the Shopify lead, first and last. And then the opportunity source is going to be from Shopify as well. And then the value is going to be the total of the order, and the status is going to be open. Again, we're going to leave both of these turned off, and we're going to click on save, and then we're going to publish this and click on save here as well. Now on to the last pipeline stage, which is going to be order placed. So to build out the automation that's going to move leads to that step, we need to go back to the workflow page. We need to create a new workflow. We'll be starting from scratch. We'll have to close this pop-up once it appears. Click on got it. And then for the name, we're going to be calling this 5 update opportunity to placed order stage. For our trigger, we are actually going to use the Shopify based trigger, which is order placed. And then we do have to add some additional logic here, but I am basically just going to click on save trigger. And then now we want to make sure that people who place orders, all of those orders that get placed on your Shopify store are going to flow into GoHighLevel through the API. But we want to make sure only the ones that show up in this pipeline are people who have actually abandoned a checkout in the past. So there's going to be a ton of people that place orders on your site without abandoning. We don't want to automatically attribute that to our GoHighLevel automation. So the way to split that out and accurately report this is to add another step here, and that is going to be based on contact details. So we're going to put an if-else statement, and then the branch, I'm just going to call this contact details. And then for the branch, we're actually going to put tags include abandoned. And here we're going to set that up. So we're going to go contact details tags, and then we'll go to includes, and we'll select abandoned. And that is all we'll need to do there. So we'll just click on save action. So now basically what's going to happen is if someone just places an order on your Shopify store and they previously have not added that abandoned tag, they'll just come down here and they'll be removed. It's not going to be attributed into our order place step of our Shopify abandoned checkout pipeline that we've built out in HighLevel. So now what we want to do is click on add, and then I'm going to add the opportunity step here, which is create/update opportunity. We're going to call this update opportunity, and this is going to be to the order placed area. And what we're going to do for that is actually set it up in the Shopify abandoned checkout at the order placed step. And then the opportunity name, as always, is going to be the contact name. Again, if you need to get that variable, you can just come here and click on contact and then click contact full name, and that will fill that out. Otherwise, you can just type this variable manually. And then for the opportunity source, it's just going to be the word Shopify. The lead value is going to be the order total price, which is something that's actually flowing in from Shopify API. And then now we actually want to set the status to 1, because at this point, the order's converted, we've won that sale, and we want to remove them from the pipeline. So that way, if they abandon another checkout in the future, they get added again. And we want to leave these 2 toggles turned off and then click on save action. One other thing that we want to do now at this point is actually remove the tag of abandoned. So that way it's like, hey, there was an order that was abandoned. Previously, we tagged the contact as abandoned. Now they've actually made a purchase. So we want to remove that abandoned tag and add another tag of recovered. So I'm going to click on here. I'll search tag, remove contact tag. The tag is going to be abandoned. So I'll just put remove abandoned tag, and I'll click on save action. And then I want to create another tag, but this one is going to be add contact tag. And this is going to be adding the tag of recovered. Whoops. And we want to create that tag. So I'll just type recovered, and then we'll create a new tag and click on save action. Now we'll publish this and click save. So that is all 5 of the automations that will be powering our pipeline and our opportunity stages within that pipeline. If I go back to workflows and I'm inside of this folder, you'll see all of these automations are now created, published, and they are active. One thing that I kind of skipped over was the allow re-entry setting, basically that pop-up that happened every single time we created an automation. What that was actually doing is it was just stating that this setting, so if you go into an automation and you click on settings, it was just letting us know that this allow re-entry toggle is turned on by default. And that's really important because for these opportunity-based automations, we want to make sure if customers abandon multiple checkouts on our site and they recover them, that they're added to the opportunities board and removed when they recover. And then if they abandon another checkout, they're actually added again. So it's really important that allow re-entry is turned on, but I just wanted to take a second to explain that so there is no confusion. Now I know in the course up until this point, I've been showing everything step by step as I set it up inside the account. But in the next part of this course, that's actually going to change. So my intention up until this point is actually to get people that are familiar with Shopify to become more familiar with HighLevel, because most people haven't been using that, especially if you're just a Shopify brand owner, you're not an agency owner, you're probably not all that familiar with HighLevel. But in the next part of this course, what I'm actually going to be doing is giving to you the automation that's going to be sending the text messages, sending those voicemail drops, sending those emails to every single customer that abandons a checkout on your site. And I'm going to explain what's happening at each step, as well as how you can customize it to your brand's voice and make any changes that you would like. So stay tuned for that part. I hope you enjoyed the course up until this point. If you have, be sure to leave a thumbs up on this video. If you have any questions or you got stuck along the way, just comment down below. I'll take some time and reply to you and make sure you get the help you need. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of the next videos inside this free course. And with that, that is it for this video. Peace.